Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. We'll start the show off with Happy New Year. It is January 1st, 2022. Today, Saturday afternoon, I'm going to be going over the player prop bets that I like on DraftKings Sportsbook. I did want to show you guys real quick. I did put a link in the description below. You can see all the bets that I have already kind of filtered through. I put just a list of bets to consider. It's pretty lengthy. I just kind of go through and, basically just type up the top 3 or 4 players at each of each team, and we'll look at the touchdown bets. I'll kind of go over some receiving total props as well, and some rushing props as well. And then, as always, you can check out the fantasy points allowed. This is a very helpful tool when looking at touchdowns, yards, all that kind of stuff. So let's hop right into it. We're going to look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New York Jets. This game's not going to be competitive. The Buccaneers favored to win by 13.5, 45.5 total implied in this one. Let's go ahead and click into it. As far as touchdown scores, we have at the top of the list Antonio Brown, minus 120, Mike Evans, minus 125, Ronald Jones, minus 110. He's actually got the best odds to score a touchdown here. In this one, you got Gronk. You want to stay within these top 4 guys. I think betting on a Jets touchdown could be messy. It could be Michael Carter. That would probably be the favorite here. He's kind of the guy that's boosted above all other players here. Jamison Crowder. I don't think Elijah Moore plays. So I'm going to stay away from basically everybody on the Jets here. I'm looking at AB, Evans, Rojo, Gronk. I really like Ronald Jones, and the fantasy points per game back this up. The New York Jets have allowed 22 rushing touchdowns as well as 4 receiving touchdowns. So that's 26 total TDs by running backs in just 15 games. So the odds of a Ronald Jones touchdown game are very good. So that one's the one that sticks out to me the most. In terms of wide receiver, the Jets actually rank pretty stout against the wide receiver just because they allow so many running back points. So they've only allowed 10 wide receiver touchdowns in 15 games. And then as far as the Jets against tight end, they've allowed 7 touchdowns. So Gronk, probably a little bit, 50% chance of him scoring. But I think if I'm taking anyone, I want Ronald Jones. Go ahead and take your favorite Bucs receiver, maybe Gronk. But it's all pointing to Ronald Jones for me. In terms of the quarterback passing props, they got Tom Brady here just at 280.5. They don't have any touchdown numbers for him as far as rushing and receiving props. Carter and Ronald Jones are both in here. They got Rojo at 71.5. I do like that. People can't really run on Tampa Bay. I would probably take the under on Michael Carter here. They really don't have a lot of stuff listed in here yet, as we're still, especially with the COVID stuff. This is kind of why my content has been slowed down the last few weeks. It's very hard to predict, and we really don't know what's going to happen until the day of. So Carter, 17.5 receiving yards. Gronk at 50-ish. There's really nothing to really go off of here. So that's why I like betting on the TD props. Ronald Jones is the guy. Let's move on to the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington football team. This one, the Eagles favored to win by 4.5, 44.5 total implied in this one. So kind of low scoring here. Touchdown scores. We do know that no Antonio Gibson in this one. So that's going to make Jarrett Patterson an interesting guy for a rushing touchdown at plus 100. And then Jalen Hurts, he's just been a monster, getting the rushing touchdowns. I want to look and see how many rushing touchdowns has the football team allowed. They've allowed 5, so that's tied for the most in the league with a handful of other teams. So it's a very good opportunity for Jalen Hurts. I think he had 2 in that game. They played just a few weeks ago, so Hurts rushing touchdown feels pretty good. You got Jordan Howard here. If he plays, I like him to score a touchdown. He's at plus 120. If anyone's going to score for the football team, it's probably going to be Jarrett Patterson. I could see Terry McLaurin here, but I'm probably staying away from this game for the most part. I don't really feel like this one's going to be a fun, high-scoring game. If no Jordan Howard, you're going to want to go ahead and slam the Boston Scott plus 130. And then Devonta Smith, Dallas Goddard, these guys are kind of dice rolls. In terms of fantasy points allowed, though, to the wide receiver and tight end position, the football team allowing the second most points to the wide receiver position, 18 total touchdowns in 15 games here. So it could be a good spot for Devonta Smith. And then against the tight end, the football team, kind of middle of the road, they've only allowed 5 touchdowns. So maybe it's not a big touchdown day for Goddard, but the yards and the receptions, you guys remember, Goddard went off in that game. So it could be a nice Dallas Goddard game. And then I'm looking here. The Eagles allowing the most tight end points per game here in a PPR setting. So maybe it's a Ricky Seals-Jones situation. He's kind of far down the list here. He's really not even on the list. All the way down here, let me look at the rushing receiving props real quick. They only have Hurts in here, 44.5. I might take the over there. Goddard, I'd probably take the over at 51.5. It's minus 120. People are kind of thinking the same thing, but not too much that I love in this game. Let me look at the passing props real quick. They got Heineke under 200. And Hurts right around the same too. So not a very exciting game. Interceptions, they're saying both guys are going to throw one. people are hammering the Taylor Heineke over interceptions here. Jalen Hurts is kind of just teetering there. But we'll move on to the Dolphins and the Tennessee Titans. Not a very exciting game on paper here, but this one has a lot of playoff implications. Miami needs a win to stay in the hunt. The Titans, 3.5-point favorites, really low total of just 40 points. Both defenses have been playing well of late. In terms of touchdowns here, outside of A.J. Brown, I mean, I don't know if I want to mess with Deonta Foreman and having to play, the three-way running back committee. I think if you're going to bet on any Titan to score, it's probably A.J. Brown or a Ryan Tannehill rushing touchdown at plus 290 here. Those are the two I like there. And then in terms of the Titans defense, they have been statistically the worst team against wide receivers. So they've allowed a lot of slot type guys. So this is probably a big Jalen Waddle game again here. So I think for the Dolphins side, I like a Waddle touchdown. I'm kind of interested in a Gesicki touchdown, but I think he's only got 2 TDs on the season. So I wouldn't bet there. If I'm betting on anything, A.J. Brown, Ryan Tannehill rushing touchdown. On the Dolphins side, I love Jalen Waddle. And just because the Titans defense allows a ton of receiver points, maybe Devonta Parker is a sneaky play here as well. If we look at the passing props real quick, nothing really sticks out to me that I love. Nothing really sticks out there. Let's look at the rushing receiving numbers. Nothing really sticks out for these guys. Again, it's a 3-way committee for the Titans. A.J. Brown at 70.5, that feels pretty good. Parker 51.5, Jalen Waddle at 70.5 here. I'm liking people are kind of taking the under on Waddle under 6.5 here, so that's interesting. But for me, I'm going to stick with the touchdown bets. We'll move on to the Jaguars and the Patriots. This one's going to be ugly, guys. Patriots favored to win by 16, 41.5. That's basically like no points for the Jags here. So I'm not putting any money on a Jaguars touchdown. If you're going to put anything on this game, it's a Damian Harris at minus 120. To get a score, maybe Ramondre Stevenson plus 140. We saw last week Damian Harris get 3 touchdowns. Maybe at plus 450 here, you take him to get 2. I could see that being kind of fun. And then it's kind of like playing Russian roulette with some of these receivers and tight ends. Hunter Henry, Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers. Probably don't want to bet on a Myers touchdown, but Bourne and Hunter Henry have been the best 2 picks of touchdowns the last few months here. And then if you have any inkling to get a Jaguar touchdown here, I wouldn't do it, but it's probably Darrell and Bawali from the goal line there. They don't have any rushing receiving numbers in here yet. So that's another reason why we're touchdown oriented here on the Fantasy Fellowship. We'll move on to the Raiders and the Colts. Colts favored to win by 7, 44.5 total implied. This is a very exciting game for the Colts here. They have an opportunity to stay in the AFC South championship race. So let's see what we got here. And this has been kind of one of the most important things that I've learned this year is to Jonathan Taylor. He's going to score a touchdown, right? We can't doubt him. We want him to score a touchdown. He didn't get one last week. I'm going to take Jonathan Taylor to score a touchdown at minus 215. So say you just put $25 on that. It's only going to yield you about $11.62. But here's what we do. Maybe not in the same game. We'll go to a different game and we'll pick, say we took a Ronald Jones touchdown here. Let me actually go to this. So you take Jonathan Taylor and then you're going to parlay him with just another player. So Ronald Jones at minus 110 to score. We add that here, and this parlay turns into 179. So if both guys score a touchdown and you put 25 on that, you're almost 3xing your money. So that's kind of how I like to play. You take a Jonathan Taylor touchdown and then you pick your second favorite guy to score, and it's gonna really alter these odds in your favor for you. So that's probably my best advice for this weekend. And with the Colts, Jonathan Taylor is going to score. Maybe he is. I don't know. The quarterback, their situation, we don't know what's going on with Carson Wentz. I think either way, though, Sam Ehlinger, he's going to get them in there into the red zone at some point. Otherwise, Jonathan Taylor will do it himself. And I just think he's probably going to touch the ball 30 times tomorrow. So I love the Jonathan Taylor touchdown. I'm not going to take any other Colts to score. Josh Jacobs, pretty good bet to score here in this one. I don't mind the plus 120 here. Hunter Renfro is interesting at plus 175. And then the only other guy that I really care about is probably Foster Moreau at plus 275. He's been coming along with the targets the last couple games. Zay Jones has actually been the best big receiver for them. So interesting here. I'm just not too excited about getting player props in this one outside of Taylor, maybe Josh Jacobs. Let's get to a more exciting game, though. I'm talking the Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. Probably the game of the week. You see 51 total points implied in this one. Chiefs favored to win by 4.5. This one's in Cincinnati as well. Looking at the touchdown scores, like literally, like we can go 7 deep here. Tyreek Hill, Mixon, Kelsey, Williams, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. These guys are all pretty good bets to score. I'm not saying there's going to be 7 total touchdowns in this game, but there easily could. There could be 3 or 4 from each side here. So Tyreek Hill to score -120. That one feels pretty good. And then just out of curiosity, if we pair this with the Jonathan Taylor touchdown, say we take a Travis Kelsey touchdown, all of a sudden you're looking at plus 193 here. You put 25 on that again, you're almost 3xing your money. So that Jonathan Taylor is kind of like a free square, and then you just simply parlay him with another high bet opportunity to score. So let's look at the fantasy numbers on this one, because this one's a fun game. I think you want to get some bets in this game. As far as quarterback points here, the Kansas City Chiefs allowing the 6th most fantasy points per game here. They've allowed 22 passing touchdowns and 5 rushing touchdowns. The Cincinnati Bengals, they've allowed 22 passing touchdowns and just 1 rushing touchdown. So, okay. So both quarterbacks likely to probably score 2 touchdowns in this one. And then as far as a running game concern here, the Chiefs allowing the 11th most points here to the running back position, but they've only allowed 8 touchdowns on the year. The Cincinnati Bengals coming in here. Where did I miss them? Where are my Cincinnati Bengals? Why can't I read? Right here. Okay. So the Bengals have allowed 10 rushing touchdowns and 2 receiving touchdowns just to running back. So 12 touchdowns. It's a little bit better than the Chiefs. So I think Darrell Williams is probably a pretty good bet here. It is Joe Mixon, so he does have a good chance to score, but I'm liking what I'm seeing here for Darrell Williams, whether it's passing or rushing. Wide receiver stats real quick here. We're looking at the Bengals allowing 13 receiving touchdowns on the season here, kind of middle of the road. Kansas City Chiefs are a little bit down here. They've only allowed 9. So this is a little bit tougher matchup to throw the ball. So maybe I'm liking the running backs in this one, and that would be Joe Mixon at -120, but you can get Darrell Williams at +140. That might be my favorite Chief to score tomorrow. I think you could always take a Kelsey. Let's look and see how these teams do against tight end. Bengals allowing 7 touchdowns to tight ends on the season. The Chiefs allowing 6. So it's an under 50% chance, I guess. But Kelsey is Kelsey. He missed last week. He come out of the gate hot. So I think taking Mixon or Williams to score is a good idea. And then it's kind of like pick your poison. You could take Hill and Kelsey both to score. I do like T. Higgins the best in this game. I think Jamar Chase might have a tough time separating against some of those Chiefs cornerbacks. So I'm kind of less excited about these guys. I do like Mixon. I do like Darrell Williams. And I'm probably going to lean with Kelsey over Tyreek Hill. The passing props in this one, yardage. This could be a big yardage game for both teams here. But I'm looking specifically at the touchdown. Both guys are getting hammered on the over here for 2 touchdowns here. So this likely leads me to want to believe that Tyreek, Kelsey, Higgins, and Chase all can get some touchdowns for themselves. Looking at some of the rushing receiving props here, not really interested in these rushing numbers here, but the receiving yards, they got Higgins at 72.5, Kelsey 73.5, Tyreek Hill 74.5. Those are probably the top 3 guys here that I would expect to get some numbers. I'm not sure I love the Jamar Chase 68.5. Sometimes he feels too 50-50 for me. I think I'm more comfortable with the Higgins, but I'm not seeing any numbers that I truly love here. It actually could be a Tyler Boyd game for all we know. So overall, I think the touchdowns is the way to go in this game. Again, 51 total implied. They're betting on both quarterbacks to throw 2 touchdowns. So pick from the Bengals receiver weapons, pick from the Chiefs receiver weapons, and then I think strongly consider the Darrell Williams and Joe Mixon touchdowns in this one. So probably the best game, I think, of the noon slate. I'm going to graze over this game real quick. The Giants at the Bears. Who really cares? But -6.5. Bears favored to win. 36 points total in this one. I'm not going to give you guys a single Giant to score a touchdown. You want David Montgomery in this one. That's pretty much it. David Montgomery, -110. That is the guy. They don't have any rushing receiving props in here yet but it's going to be Andy Dalton. They're going to run the ball. Maybe you like a Darnell Mooney in this one, +210. He played really well with Dalton not too long ago, so I'm interested there. I'm going to move on, though, to another game that doesn't really excite me, but it should have some prop bet interest. The Falcons at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo favored to win by 14.5, 44.5 total implied in this one. Take your Buffalo Bill. Stephon Diggs, Devin Singletary, Josh Jacobs. I like Gabe Davis. I like Dawson Knox. I'm not sure I like Cole Beasley in this one, but those guys, you really can't go wrong. I'm disappointed that I don't see a quarterback stat. I wish I could. I'm sure Josh Allen's at 2.5 passing touchdowns, but if that's the case, I'd probably take the over there. But Diggs, minus 110. Singletary, plus 115. The Josh Allen rushing touchdown, plus 120. I'm kind of interested in that one. Cordero Patterson just hasn't been the same the last month of football or so. So plus 150 to score, I can't really guarantee it. And if you're going to bet on any Falcon to score, it's Patterson, Pitts, Gage, maybe Mike Davis. Against the Buffalo Bills, man, in terms of fantasy points allowed here, Buffalo's allowing like the least fantasy points per game here to any position. So I'm probably staying away from the Falcons bets. But pick your poison with the Bills. I think Diggs and Singletary are pretty good options here. I do like Gabe Davis and Dawson Knox. It looks like Emmanuel Sanders is not going to go, so Davis should see the field a lot. I like all the guys: Diggs, Singletary, Josh, Davis, and Knox. Pick your favorite from those, and we'll see what happens there. I'm going to move on to a little bit more exciting game here: the Rams and the Ravens. Now we're going to see Tyler Huntley most likely start at quarterback. The Rams favored to win by 5.5, 46.5 total implied in this one. But we've seen some good things from Tyler Huntley where they could, actually keep this very, very competitive. Taking Cooper Kupp to score, so I'm interested here. If you take a Cooper Kupp touchdown with a Jonathan Taylor touchdown, you're still getting plus 135 odds, and that's more than double your money. So I don't hate it. I'm gonna like Sony Michel in this one. Like, we had rumors that Cam Akers was gonna play. No Darrell Henderson right now, so Sony Michel's been hot. Ride him. And then it's kind of like a pick your poison here. Odell Beckham, Van Jefferson. I would say both guys have really good chances to score. And another thing too. So like the Jonathan Taylor in the parlay thing that we were just discussing earlier. In a game like this, where I like the Rams to be able to pass the ball against the Ravens. So say you take a Beckham touchdown and a Jefferson touchdown, and say we just put 25 bucks on each of these. Okay, so we have $50 total entered on the bets here. If Beckham scores, it's going to pay us out. What is that? I can't do math right now in my head, but it's roughly $37 of profit from an Odell Beckham touchdown. And with a Van Jefferson touchdown, like, we're making roughly 40 some dollars. So it's about $43 for Van Jefferson. So if you take separate bets for Odell to score and Van Jefferson to score, there's a chance that both of them score and you profit. Or otherwise, if just one of them scores, you're still going to profit. So it's a way to kind of cover your butt. Take a Beckham touchdown separately and take a Van Jefferson touchdown separately. And who knows, if they both score, you're looking at some big money there. But all you need is one to actually profit. So it's kind of like, I like to call it a free bet here. The chances of one of them scoring, probably pretty good here. So that's kind of my favorite bet here, this Beckham Van Jefferson one. And then looking at Devonta Freeman, I don't love it, but he could score. I think Mark Andrews is really the only Raven that I want to trust right now. It could be a Marquise game. Huntley really hasn't jived with him, though, on the deep ball. So it's all about Mark Andrews, plus 175. He's been the best tight end in football the last month or so. So I'm going to stick with that. Looking at the passing props, they don't have any Ravens ones in here, but Stafford, people are hammering this over 1.5 here. He's going to throw more than 2 touchdowns. So I think if you want some free money, you could take that, just out of curiosity. Stafford, you take the over on Stafford passing touchdowns. A $25 bet wins you $10. So I guess that's free cash flow. You got to take it if you want it. Rushing numbers: Sony Michel 69.5. I probably like the over there, and they really don't have a full list of numbers in here for us for the receiving props. But go ahead and hit those touchdown props there from Van and Odell Beckham. That's kind of a fun bet. Moving on to the Texans and the 49ers. Oh, no. Okay, so the 49ers favored to win by 11.5, 44 total implied in this one as far as touchdowns go. Probably going to take Elijah Mitchell. I do think Trey Lance probably sneaks one in here for plus 115. I like that the most. I'm just unsure I can trust Deebo Samuel in the passing game, but as a rusher, we've seen Deebo Samuel do some great things. So if anyone's going to score in the 49ers, I like a Trey Lance or a Deebo. If Lance passes one, you got to think it's Kittle. You got to think it could be Deebo himself, and then Elijah. Really all 5 of these guys. Heavy 49ers in this one. I'm not going to take Jeff Wilson, but it could be any of these top 5 here. I think my favorites, so Trey Lance, Deebo, I would feel comfortable with that. And if you have the stones to bet on a touchdown by the Texans, take Brandon Cooks. I think that's the one that has been pretty, trustworthy all season here. We'll move on to, we got a few more games. We got a lot of games left here. Broncos and the Chargers. I'll make this one quick. Chargers not coming into the Chargers are coming into this one healthy. The Broncos not so much. I think the Eckler touchdowns, free money. Pick your favorite. It's kind of the same thing. The Keenan Allen and the Mike Williams situation. It's just the same as Van and Odell. You put 25 on each of these guys here. The payout is if all you need is one of them to score, and you're going to make some money. And there's chances of both of them scoring do feel pretty good in this one. The only Bronco I care to take is probably Javonte Williams. We'll leave it at that. In terms of passing props here, they got Herbert. People are hitting this over 2 touchdowns here. I kind of like that as well. Rushing receiving numbers, they don't really have a lot in here. Mike Williams at 55.5 seems kind of low. We could see him come back and go beast mode. But that Keenan Allen, Mike Williams combo prop, I like that. Let's move on. The Saints and the Panthers, I'm going to be real quick with this one, guys. Not a really fun game here. Start that Saints defense. Take the Alvin Kamara minus 125 or the Taysom Hill plus 140. I'll kind of stick away. If you had to bet on a receiver, I like Marquez Callaway plus 240, but it's really not something I want to invest in. Kamara or Taysom Hill would be my choices. A pretty fun game here. The Cardinals and the Cowboys. This is a future playoff matchup, it feels like. Cowboys favored to win by 6, 52 total implied in this one. And this one's kind of the same thing, just like the Chiefs and the Bengals. Like, take your favorite players in this one. There's a very strong chance that these guys all score. Zeke at minus 120. Not sure I love it. We'll see if the Cowboys can establish the run in this one. But the Cowboys receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup, kind of the same thing. Like with Van Jefferson and Odell, or the Chargers receivers, you could take a CeeDee touchdown separately, and you could take a Amari Cooper touchdown separately. All you need is one of them to hit, and it's going to pay out. You could even add Michael Gallup or Dalton Schultz to this. So I do think there is a benefit to betting on 2 players from the same game when they're plus odds. So that's kind of where I'll stay with that. But really, this whole top of the list here, I don't know why Christian Kirk's down here so far, but there's a huge list of players, whether it's Zeke, Lamb, Cooper, Gallup, Pollard, Schultz. Like, literally any 6 of these guys could score. If I had to bet on my favorite, it's probably going to be Lamb, Cooper, some of the receivers here, and then maybe the Zeke if they get in close. As far as the Cardinals, a lot hinges on James Conner. If he plays, if Conner plays, I like him to score. If he doesn't, you got to lock in that Chase Edmonds at plus 110. I think that's a good number. And then probably just Christian Kirk, maybe Zach Ertz for me. I'm not really sure. It's all kind of pointing to the passing props here. I think both guys going over they're 1.5 here. People are kind of hitting these already here, but I'm liking both quarterbacks to throw for more than 2 touchdowns. And this one, the rushing receiving numbers might be a little bit more attractive here. CeeDee Lamb 63.5, that's way too low. Even Amari Cooper 59.5 feels low. Christian Kirk 55.5 feels way too low. Zach Ertz kind of high at 54.5. But these 3 are definitely sticking out. Rushing yards, I'm probably going to take Kyler Murray over here. It's looking like I like a lot of these rushing and receiving numbers in this game. So it's going to be hard to bet on touchdowns. But again, if you feel good about Lamb and Cooper, one of them should score, right? So if you bet on both of them to score, there's a chance that actually both of them could score, and you kind of just you cover your bet that way. So I'll say that, and then we'll move on to the Detroit Lions and the Seattle Seahawks here. DeAndre Swift's going to play, so that's cool. You could take him to score plus 115. Not sure I love it. And then I'm basically just sticking with Penny, DK, and Lockett. Stick with these guys. They don't have any passing numbers in this one, but I would bet Russell Wilson gets 2 touchdowns minimum here. I'm feeling pretty good about the Seahawks here. We'll see about the weather, but I guess Amon-Ra St. Brown, again, it feels hard to trust. He's playing really good football in the last month or so, but go with Penny, Metcalf, Lockett. That's where you want to go. And again, if you wanted to do the special here where you take a Metcalf touchdown, say we put 25 on Metcalf, put 25 on Lockett. If one of them scores and the other doesn't, you're still going to make money. If both hit, yeah, it's a big win. So that's probably my message today is pick, multiple players on the same team to score a touchdown, and the chances of both of them hitting, it could work out. And either way, all you need is one of them to hit, and then that becomes a profit. So Packers, Vikings, Sean Mannion starting here. This is going to really take some steam off Justin Jefferson for me, but Devonta, can't go wrong with him. He's kind of included with the Cooper Kupp and the Jonathan Taylor. Like, you take a Devonta touchdown and you parlay it with something else. Aaron Jones, good bet to score. I really like A.J. Dillon. That's kind of a value there, plus 220. I think he has a good chance. It's going to be really cold in this game too, so the chances of him playing and playing well in this game are pretty good. Dalvin Cook, if there's one Viking, I'm going to take Dalvin Cook. You could take the Justin Jefferson, but again, it's going to be minus degrees. Sean Mannion, there's a lot going against them. I think I'm sticking with Cook, and that's pretty much it. You could take a gamble here on MVS or Alan Lazard. And again, kind of the same thing. Say you take, I can even include AJ Dillon in this one, but between the three of these guys, Lazard, MVS, and AJ Dillon, there's a good chance that two of them score, good chance that one of them scores. So let's just say we put 20 on each of these guys. Okay. So if just one of these guys scores, you're still going to cover your bet. I put $20 on each of them. The only one that would lose money is if only MVS scores and AJ Dillon and Alan Lazard doesn't. But have some fun with this. This is a new idea that I've been playing with. Take two players from the same game or from the same team and see what happens. But Rodgers, they don't have any game props in there for him yet. And then I don't think they have much in there for the Monday Night Football game. So that's going to do it for tonight's game. Just a real quick thought on the Browns Steelers. Of course, Nick Chubb, Najee Harris, take the running backs, take Deontay, maybe Pat Frymuth if he scores. But that's going to do it. Happy New Year, guys. Thanks for watching and for hanging out with me. I'm going to do a live show later tonight. So if you want to come hang out for that. Otherwise, in the comments below, let me know what your favorite touchdown props are. Let me know what your favorite over-unders are, and we'll have a chat in the comments. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys later. Peace.